New background music. Just gonna let it rock out for a second. Yeah. Feels so good to be back. Uh-huh. Greetings, and salutations. Welcome back to the Heavy Thoughts podcast. Rounds of applause for you being here. Round of applause for you. And you, especially you, because you could have been anywhere in the world. But you rocking with me, and I appreciate that. Listen, I'm not going to berate you with a whole bunch of thoughts and background fluff, because a lot of people have been asking. By a lot of people, I mean at least 3 of my dedicated day one listeners, like, yo, Mac, where you been? Where you been? Like, I know what you got going on. I know what you're dealing with, and we're going to get into all of that. But they really want to know, like, Mac, for real, where you been? And I want to talk about it. So, since the last episode I put up, there's a lot of things that have come to mind and have come to light. And a part of those things was I didn't like the way that I was podcasting, largely in part because I was doing it for the reaction of people. I was doing it for trying to build a fan base and trying to build, followers and people to just, oh my God. But in the reality of it is, for me, I've never been cut like that. I never do anything for attention. And that's the large reason why a lot of times podcasting for me felt, disingenuous. It didn't feel organic. It didn't feel good. So turned off all of my social medias. I turned off TikTok, my Instagrams, most of my Facebooks, and all the access and stuff. And I really wanted to dial in into what makes me me. And shout out to my A1, my my true white friend, because I don't have. It's bad enough I don't have many friends. I have even less guy friends, but my true A1 DG, he really holds me down and holds me accountable. And in his most polite and poetic ways, he just says, get back to work, bitch. We waiting. So shout out to my homie DG, man. He for real is a supporter, and he and another young lady, Mrs. Officer out in Georgia, and a couple people up in New York, and one person from London. All of them have been sending messages like, yo, just get back to doing what you do. And that brought me to the thought, and it brought me to the idea of doing what you do. And that's largely in part what I want my podcast to be about going forward. It's not about numbers. It's not about people trying to, tag themselves to be a part of what they think is going to be the next big movement. It's just me literally talking to a microphone, creating and giving my authentic and genuine thought process on how the world works, my thoughts and views on my personal life, because, I don't really got time for therapy. So I feel like talking to a microphone where they tens and 20s of ears, not thousands, not hundreds, just 10 to 20 people will be listening out and hearing, my thoughts, views, and perspectives as it pertains to things in the world and as it pertains to my own personal life. Because as long as y'all show up for me, I'm going to show up for y'all. And I mean that. So I'm not creating anymore for the masses. My content has never been for the masses. The masses should happen to find it. That's on them. But it's not going to be pushed in a narrative where I'm going to water down any version of myself to try to fit what I think is comforting or what I think is doable or what I think could be profitable if I got to sell any part of my piece to get it. So again, to those who have been encouraging and have been pushing, again, round of applause to you because you could have been anywhere. You could have been trusted anybody. You could have said anything to anyone. And for whatever reason, you chose to rock with me. And I appreciate that. I really do. So, in this new page turner of the Heavy Thoughts podcast, I just want to tell y'all about what's been going on for the past couple months. A lot of good, some bad, some different. But we live and we grind to live and see another day. So first and foremost, shout out to the Panthers, Carolina Panthers. I had no idea that we had a shot at being decent this year. Like, just crazy. Like, the year started off kind of slow, and then, my lady and I, we went to a game, and I think we might be the good luck charm. So if somebody who knows somebody that, rock with the Panthers, like, yo, if you get heavy and this lady there, they've never lost whenever they was in the stadium. So I'm just saying, food for thought. We went out to the Panthers game, having a phenomenal time. They won. They blew out Atlanta that weekend. And since then, they've had, highs and lows. And most recently, when Tampa just lost their game, we had a chance to top the NFC South, but in true fashion, somebody fucked it up and let their emotions get the better of them. I'm telling you, men, for real. If I'm being vulnerable enough to share my thoughts, views, and perspectives to a bunch of strangers, if you're a paid professional, you get paid top dollars, big bucks to do your job. Don't let the emotions get in the way. If somebody's going down for a slide, you don't have to try to knock his block off and give them an extra 15 yards for them to kick the field goal and beat us. That was stupid. That was pointless, but I digress. Anyway, shout out to the Panthers. I am happy to see, even though we're 7-7, it's been a long time. Long time. I don't think since since we went to the Super Bowl with Cam, I don't think we've had a 7-game positive season, or at least like over 500. I could be wrong. I wasn't watching that, intensely, because during that time, after we lost the Super Bowl, I was in Atlanta, and it's hard to root for the Panthers when you're surrounded by Falcons. I'm just not for nothing. It's crazy. So shout out to the Panthers. Since the time in the top of the year, I saw some things on television that kind of made my antenna ears go up. And one of those things was I saw how many billionaires and all of these top CEOs of all of these Fortune 500 companies, actually not even Fortune 500, Fortune 5 companies, was sitting behind the president during the time of his inauguration. And I'm like, that's not going to be good. And, my lady was like, what you talking about? I was like, well, Facebook is there, Google is there, Microsoft is there. Like, all of these people are there. And quiet as it's kept, billionaires get bailouts when certain people are in office. Like, more money comes to their pocket. The fact that they're sitting right behind them ahead of senators and head of House committee members and head of everybody that literally serves an intricate part in keeping our government going. The fact that they were on the front row of that spoke volumes to me. So during that time, I was in my truck driving back, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do this too much longer. And there was a conversation I had with the family, and something didn't feel right. Like, something was gonna make a seismic shift, and I needed to go with something that's more secure, something that's more guaranteed. And I've always worked in professions where the checks was never gonna come into question. Like, rain, sleet, snow, sunshine is what it is. I always worked jobs where the money was coming in regardless. I've never been worried about losing my job, and because of a government shutdown or because of like COVID the pandemics, plagues, nothing is going to stop me from doing what I got to do because I'm always going to be one of those intricate people that got to be on the front lines to keep this country going. So, in doing that, I put out a couple feelers and I landed back at Quas's Cap. I'm almost 40 years old, and I found myself landing right back in the same spot that I was in when I was 24, and that's going back into law enforcement. I'm like, yo, this is crazy, and I'm doing this again, but it's for good reason. Good reason because I know that no matter what happens, my daughter is going to be taken care of. My house is going to get, paid. Bills are going to get paid. Nothing's ever going to slow up. And it gives me an extra layer of knowledge and forethought of what's coming down the pipeline because when you work in law enforcement, whether they tell you this or not, you get a little heads up. You do. And I need that because I don't know the dynamic of how people was planning on moving. And I can tell you 11 months later, I'm glad I made the change. Do I miss the money? Absolutely. And if it wasn't going to cost me my family, my relationship, I would have took up my boys' offer because like right at the tail end of me completing basic training, my boy came through with the sweetest offer. He was like, yo, this is something that we're developing in our country. I think you'd be our company, I think you'd be perfect for it. And I said, yes, I actually would. Imagine that. Imagine a white man presenting a black man with a job that he would not only thrive in, but murder in. And it was paying top dollar. I mean, it was paying great money. And I took it home and, I sat down and I told my lady, I said, yo, this is what he's talking about. And she was like, nah. She said, nah. Right now we need stability. And right now you have stability. I'm like, yeah, but this is more money, this is more this is more that. And then she hit me with a truth that I wasn't ready to hear, but I understood where she was coming from. She said, if you can't be consistent with it in your free time, is it worth possibly ruining your relationship with your friend just to have more money, be in a different space or whatever have you? Like, it could work, but if it doesn't, are you willing to lose that friendship in the process? I was like, no, I don't think I am. Because once you get to your 40s, finding friends is hard. Finding friends, making friends is hard because you establish yourself in a level of consistency that you just don't want to move out of. Like, what do you mean you want to leave the house at 9:35, 10 o'clock to go outside? For what? Like, what's outside? What's outside that I can't get in my house? Why do I have to leave my house to go outside to get anything? Now, don't get me wrong. I personally love going out for a good cigar. It and then just to be in the atmosphere of like-minded smokers, having something soft to look at, some beautiful one to look at doesn't hurt. But for me, very few and far between do I want to leave my house more than once, twice a week is pushing it to do anything outside of just chilling, cigars included. So, yeah, that situation kind of brought me to a standstill and made me take like a real stark, aggressive look at my life and how I wanted to present myself to the world. And I want to do it consistently and righteously. I want it to be from a place of just pure, unadulterated righteousness where it's not for show, it's not for play, it's not for anybody else's validation but my own. So, with that being said, I had to, respectfully, for the time being, kind of, let that dream go because she does have a point. I don't want to jeopardize the possibility of a friendship for the ease of what I think could be the ease of a paycheck or anything from that dynamic, especially if it's somebody that I know for real, loves me to life and like death. That's my guy. Shout out DG. So that kind of kept me in the pivot of staying where I was at. And being back in this line of work, I'm gonna tell you, it's never been more evident just how nuts people are. So from the time of 2014 through say about 2020, I've been on the front lines of law enforcement. So I'm the person that, the police get called, deputy sheriffs get called. I'm the one that comes out. I'm the one that handles the Ray Ray is threatening me, or Shonda is trying to kill me, or I don't like how much he's texting me, or she keeps driving by my house threatening to put a brick through my car. All of the stupid shit. That was my wheelhouse of frustration that I lived at between those years. And now, because I have a daughter, my idea was, well, I kind of need something with a little bit more flexibility, just as structured, but I need the flexibility as far as time. I wanted to travel more. I wanted to see more. I wanted to do more, but I didn't want to be confined to the job that I know on certain levels was going to stress me the fuck out. So I chose to go the backside route of law enforcement, which is like probation and parole. So in doing that, you pretty much see people after the fact. And for those who don't know, probation and parole officers only can enforce the judgment in which was handed down to them. So if you some random dude smoking weed out in the middle of the street, because weed is decriminalized, and according to the executive order today, it's been put in a new class, but I don't know what that means yet because Trump be shining executive orders like they're going out of style. I mean, 200 plus, most in presidential history, but I digress. Um, if a probation or parole officer sees a random person outside smoking or, doing illegal narcotics of that nature, I'll just use weed because weed has been, again, decriminalized. We don't have the authority to arrest you for it. The only authority of people we can arrest is people on probation. Now, that is subject to change based on policies, but as it currently states in the state of North Carolina, all probation officers can do is arrest people that's currently on probation. Now, if you're doing something that can cause harm towards somebody's physical body, property, and things of that nature or self, we can detain you. Law enforcement, police can come out and they can take care of the rest, but to physically arrest you, we don't have those powers, not in North Carolina. So I like the idea of being on the other side of it. I get to see people after the fact and I get to remind them that the only difference between me and them is that they got caught for their bad decisions and I didn't get caught for mine. That's the only difference between being a police officer or a probation officer and a criminal. It was, I didn't get caught and you did. And that's okay. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But being on this side of it, it gives me a real human look of how people or some people can be treated and how some people have to endure certain levels of ridicule and frustration and just blatant disrespect. So always trying to be on the forefront of promoting and being a part of change. Thought it not robbery to give it a go. They afforded me the opportunity. I gladly accepted it. It was way less money than what I'm used to, way less. But because I live like a Buddhist monk, largely in part, my habits include going on cruises, which we'll talk about later, and the occasional good cigar. But again, my boy DG be sending me some great cigar packs. So very rarely do I have to go out and purchase new ones. I leave to his expertise Whatever he thinks is a good vibe, send it down, and it's a whole vibe. So I transitioned into that line of work, and that's where I've been for the past couple months. And I got to tell you, it's different. Um, Pros and cons from policing and probation. Uh, Policing is like a hit it and quit it. You come to work with no expectations of finishing what happened the day before. And all of my departments that I work for, you couldn't go home until all the paperwork, everything was signed, sealed, submitted. So you start the day fresh. Probation is a long commitment. It's like it's like being married to like 95 different people because 95 different people got 95 different wants, 95 different concerns, 95 different files, 95 different characteristics. It's a lot. I'm not going to hold you. It's a lot. But it does again offer that freedom where it is Monday through Friday for the most part, 8 to 5, and you kind of control your schedule. So from that aspect, I'm not gonna complain too much. I'm not gonna complain too much. So I'll miss the police officer's paycheck, but I love the probation officer's hours. And yeah, and in doing that, a part of me going back into law enforcement was getting my body right. Now, keep in mind, I'm a man of a certain age. I was born in the 1980s. So I'm getting up there. And lifting weights is a thing of the past. I ain't going to hold you. It's not for me no more. It's not a part of my blessing. It's not a part of my testimony. It is not a part of my gift. I can't do it. I'm not fighting people in the streets anymore. I'm not throwing around 400 pounders anymore via law enforcement or football. Those days are over for me. And because they're over for me, I have now adapted into the new mindset of like yoga, watch your mouth for those laughing, and calisthenics. The only time I really pick up weights is to do like maybe bicep training, and those are for burnouts if I don't feel like my bands are giving me enough resistance. So in doing that, my joints have gotten a lot stronger. My posing, as far as my downward facing dog and my child's pose and pigeon pose, all of the things are coming together. Body is starting to get back right, and it has to, because next year for my birthday, I don't know if you notice or not, but I'm gonna be saying it a lot. I definitely plan on going to a naked resort. That's right. I want to go to a naked resort, let it all hang out, and kind of walk into my 40s like, hey, this is me, fully accepting of everything, every nook, every crack, every cranny, every scar, every blemish, everything. Spend some time maybe with an older white couple telling me about how it was back when rent was $12 and a full tank of gas was $3.50. Just enjoying the ambiance of people enjoying themselves. And then from there, come back home with a new attitude and a new appreciation for love and my body. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And being back in law enforcement brought me back to that realization that you ain't as young as you think you are. You are not as limber as you think you are, and you need to really get your body moving. So for all the people that's past 35, my full encouragement to you: go stretch, go move, go do something, please, because I'm telling you, it does not get easier the older you get. And since being gone, on top of doing the workouts for bodies and stuff like that, I got to tell you, I developed a new love for anime. Yeah, yeah, it took me a while to get there, but I kept watching things on Facebook, and I saw people talking about this show called Solo Leveling. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And somebody was like, it was anime. I was like, I don't think I fuck with anime. And it was like, well, didn't you watch like the Baki thing on Netflix? Like, yeah, that's a form of anime. Like, you like Dragon Ball Z? Love Dragon Ball Z. That's anime. It's like, oh, so it's just, I like anything with violence. So that's why I firmly believe that DC makes better cartoons and TV shows than Marvel because, Batman be fucking up the Joker. You know what I'm saying? Superman be fucking up Doomsday. It's just, it be the whole vibe. And the Omega beings be swicking and swacking and swerking. So I'm like, I'm here for it. So anything that's got a good storyline and some decent violence, I'm active. I'm on it. I'm watching. Let's go. Let's get it. So yeah, I'm now on the anime. So Solo Leveling, I sat down and watched all of season 1. So great. Chainsaw Man, that was on Netflix. It's a wild take. It's cool. Apparently I gotta scour the internet and try to catch season 2 or wherever it's gonna be. Yo, Record of Ragnarok. Listen, 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 listen. If you got time and you got Netflix and you like Greek mythology, North mythology, Christianity, Buddhism, anything like that, you need to watch this show. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but essentially the gods want to kill humanity. And one of the Valkyries wants to step in place for humanity and say, yo, we should have a fight to see, if the humans win, y'all got to spare them. But if y'all win, y'all can kill them. And I'm thinking, well we dead on arrival because we can't beat gods. What the fuck are you talking about? There's some things that go into it, but some of the matchups that I thoroughly enjoyed was Zeus versus Adam. That's right, Adam from Adam and Eve was fighting Zeus. Fucking phenomenal fight scene. Nikola Tesla versus Beelzebub. That was a good one. Who else was there? So many people, I just don't want to give it away. Hercules and Jack the Ripper. That was a good fight. And some other unknown people, but the more known gods being, Poseidon and Lucifer, and it's just Buddha. That was a good one. If you get time, if you want to nerd out for a second, if you just want to watch something that's got some decent violence, something just to get after a little bit, then by all means, you got to lock into the Record of Ragnarok because it's a lick. And I'm always looking for new shows, so please feel free to let me know at heavymac@outlook.com, HEAVYMACK@outlook.com. Just let me know about it because, again, I guess I'm a blurred Black Nerd Gang. We in here. Whew, just good. Oh, man, it just feels good. It feels good to be part of the community. A community that doesn't poke fun for liking what they like. And speaking of community, marriage life. For the people that want to be a part of this community, I'm going to tell you something. I will never, as a man, and I didn't know this until I saw another person of influence confirmed it. I will never tell you the truth about marriage because honestly, it's something you have to experience for yourself. I found out that some people gatekeep how they maintain their happiness in their marriage. And yeah, that I'm never going to tell you how I maintain the happiness in mine. I will say this. There's things that I've been learning about myself. And just talking to some new people. Shout out to Dr. Z, phenomenal woman, full of thought and insight and so much knowledge as it pertains to energy and human thought and behavior. And what I'm coming to grips with is, I will say this, I don't believe in my experiences that one person can be that everything for one person. I don't see it. Largely in part because when you grow into new experiences, when you grow into new versions of yourself, there's certain things that was good at one point change, and change is inevitable. It's going to happen regardless. Change is consistent. It's always going to happen. Nothing stays stagnant forever. Everything changes. And when I look at it and I think, just it's so many different things that I want to try and I want to experience and I want to explore. But if it's not to the liking of your partner or your person, do you then become a shell of yourself for their happiness, or do you have the tough conversations knowing that it can lead to confusion, frustrations, and sometimes separation? So, in learning and taking that walk with myself, I'm learning that I'm no longer ashamed of saying, I can't be everything for my lady. I can't. I can't. There's certain brain power matters that she has. I ain't got it. I honestly don't have it. There's things that she's passionate about, that she cares about, that she wants to talk about, that she wants to be active on. And I'm just like, I just want to make a sandwich and go lay down. I don't want to do or talk about. But should she then regress back into herself because I don't want to talk about it? Should we be open to the idea of her having a person, guy or girl, I don't give a shit, that she can talk about this shit with? Because that makes her happy to talk about it. My happiest moments is when I'm not saying much of anything. Like, I'm at peace right now doing this because I know that as much as I'm recording at the 32 minutes and 4 seconds right now, and however long this episode goes, I know that at the end of it, it's going to be met with hours of silence while editing, while trying to put the art where it's supposed to be and getting things just right. That's the part that I can't wait for. The silence. Because the silence to me is beautiful. It's everything. It's something that I didn't appreciate until it was no longer an option. Because, see, people don't appreciate the silence when they live alone. They don't appreciate the silence when they don't have kids and when they don't have a partner or a person that wants to talk or that wants to inquire, that wants to ask, that wants to deal, that wants to do. They don't care about the silence because they want a voice and they want to have some say so and they want to have something, anything just to talk to you about. And that's cool. But when I tell you, it's one of the main reasons on why I take cruises, man, because I love the silence. I love sitting on the boat in the middle of the ocean, and the only thing I can hear is the waves. One thing I can hear is the water, and I can feel the wind, and there's not a person in sight for miles. Be on a boat surrounded by people in a world all to myself. It's a poetry thing to me. I literally get lost in the abyss of silence. One of my favorite lines from one of my favorite movies was A Knight's Tale, Heath Ledger. And his gesture, his guy said, he was talking about him, he was giving him an introduction. He said he spent a year in complete silence to further understand the better sounds of a whisper. And I don't know why this movie came out. I don't know, almost 2 decades, if not right now. And that line always stuck with me. So I'm growing and evolving to an idea that I don't think you can be everything for one person because people are complicated. I think if you try to fit the dynamic of trying to be everything for that one individual, whoever gets the most done for them, the other person loses more of themselves. And I don't think that's fair because if life is about growing and experiencing, my growth and experiences shouldn't have to match that of my partner or my person Because if she wants to do something that makes her feel more fulfilled and more satisfied, that doesn't give me that knee jerk reaction of wanting to do it. And in some cases, you can even go as far as trying it. So, prime example, if you like all inclusive resorts, sitting on the beach, drinking Mai Tais, or having people cater to you, and oh, yes, you can just do this and it'll be that. And that's what it is. That's the bee's knees, and it's all great and perfect. That's fine. I support and I love that for you. I personally don't like it. I like cruises again because it's the silence of the ocean. It's the gambling of the casinos. It's the pure, unadulterated fun that you can have from meeting strangers or not speaking to anyone at all. It's one of my favorite reasons on why my brothers and I take our family cruise like every year around September. Which this year, we tried a new boat. We tried the Carnival Horizon. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't use the word awful and cruise in the same sentence often, if not ever. This one, it was awful. The boat was new and old. Think Benjamin Button as a baby, born old. So it's new, but it has old features. The best part about this boat was the elevators. A lot of people hated them. I loved them because if you push the button, it says, yo, this is the elevator that's going to take you to this floor. And it wasn't stopping for shit else. And I'm like, there you go. Technology that'll tell you, fuck you, go wait. Beautiful. Love everything about it. Barely had air conditioning. Don't understand it. I don't understand how a cruise ship doesn't have air conditioning. If you're not going to have air conditioning, you should make it to where the rooms have windows that should open because it gets hot. I can't function on that. The casino was laughable at best. There was literally a velvet rope that separated the smoking and non-smoking side. I don't think these motherfuckers know how science or physics or gravity works, but if I'm 2 feet away from you and you're smoking, there's nothing that's going to stop your smoke from coming on my side of the boat. I don't think they thought that one through. And speaking of the boat and bars, I drink for free in the casinos. I'm looking for the bar, and I see a table that's like a wet bar set up. And I was like, no, well, where's the big bar? They said, well, that is the big bar. I said, that little cube of space in the corner where people are lined up, that's the big bar? Yeah. Oh, I'm never doing this shit again. No lie. No lie. We got on the boat. I want to say September 27th. Yeah, because I graduated from basing in 26. So we got on the boat September 27th. We got off the boat like October 5th or 6th or something like that. And in that time frame, since we've gotten off the boat, they've had power outage issues. A young girl was killed by her stepbrother, if I'm not mistaken. Well, there was a homicide on the boat. There was a woman overboard on the boat. And before we got on the boat, there was a woman that left the boat and left her room, and I don't think she's been found since. I think she's somewhere in Aruba or Bonaire. Moral of the story, I'm never doing Carnival Horizon again. That being said, didn't learn my lesson from Carnival because they still lit to me. Got something booked up for the end of January. January 30th through February 2nd. Shipping out on the Conquest, Carnival Conquest, leaving out of Miami. So if you rocking, if you rolling, I see you out there. But yeah, that to me that's my beauty. And I don't need extracurriculars or extra people to enjoy it. I love the silence. The fact that my brothers and I go every year, cool. Do I have to go with them? No. I would love to take a cruise every month next year, give or take one or two, until leading up to the big cruise. Hopefully, I can get platinum before Carnival changes their programming and everything. And if they change it too bad and I start losing perks, that's when they can kiss my ass. I will officially be onward and upward to someplace else. Like, from what I hear, Virgins is nice. No buffets, and best and most important, no fucking kids. Oh my God, no fucking kids. And to come back from vacation, for my brothers, and based on what we had seen, we literally came back to a government shutdown. And I gotta tell you, I'm not the political person. I'm not. I don't dive too deep into politics, largely in part because you're either going to actively change some shit, passively support some shit, or somewhere in the middle don't give a shit. I am at the cross of passively supporting and actively changing because if I believe there's always two stories. No one is as bad as they are, no one is as good as they think they are. I don't know the good in this presidency. I've only seen the horrific. I don't know anybody that is of the lower income of anything lower than 250,000 that says how much better their life has gotten. I know a couple people that's up a couple million that's got up more, a couple million, but everybody else is just kind of still complaining about the cost of eggs and gas. So I don't really do politics. My problem is when politics does what it does and it affects people, everyday working people. And from what I remember, I think this was one of the longest government shutdowns in American history. And there was like a pride about it. Like, yeah, we're shutting it down. Our military isn't getting paid. TSA agents aren't getting paid. People that are responsible for travel, the safety of travel, aren't getting paid. People that are responsible for the protection of the country aren't getting paid because y'all maybe want to do some backdoor dealings that don't benefit one side or that benefits the rich more than the poor or that benefits the right more than the left. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you joking? Do you understand how fucking wicked that shit is? I don't care what your political affiliation is. I really don't. I do care about motherfuckers missing checks because the political people can't get their shit together. I'm all for saying, yo, instead of the American people not getting paychecks, how about y'all don't get paychecks? Because technically, y'all not working, but y'all still get paid, but the people that's working don't. How does that make sense? Anybody can help me make sense of that motherfucker. Oh, we still get a check, but they haven't had one in a month and a half, but they should be fine. Are you fucking nuts? More than 80% of the people in this country are one paycheck away from being homeless, evicted, hungry. Everybody don't hoard money. Everybody don't save every penny they got. A lot of people spend it just as fast as they get it. But that's another story for another time. And I largely blame that on the individual because I've been in that spot. I remember summer 2018 eating ramen noodles and lentils because I had lost a job that was covering everything. And I finally got up and they put me out of this job. And I'm literally making life and death decisions of should I get gas or should I get food? Because if I get gas to go to work, I haven't eaten. Or should I eat and then run the risk of running out of gas on the way to work and then not get paid for not being at work? It was a fucking shit show. And that summer taught me a lot. That summer taught me I don't give a damn what's going on. I'm paying me first. And every job since then, I've paid me first. Yeah, your check is only $1,200. Well, I'm paying me $400. Well, the $800 ain't gonna cover the bills, and whatever don't get covered, don't get covered. I'm not going back to eating beans and ramen noodles. I'm not going back to struggling on whether I can get this paycheck. The hardest part, and the hardest part in that transition is when you have family. Because although I might be good, my daughter's situation, she got to have what she got to have. My house still got to have what it got to have. And because I don't do it alone, I have to do it with a partner. And if your partner don't understand how you move, then that can in turn come back and bite you. But I'm not big on excuses. I'm big on results. I'm real big on results, and I can't live in a world where my daughter does exactly what she's supposed to do and she has to go without because the two adults in the house can't be on the same page. I'd rather suffer in silence. I'd rather complain to my pillow and, talk to my floor mat in the morning doing push-ups and my frustrations trying to get this anger up out of me because I needed to make sure that my daughter was straight. Regardless if I can pay myself, I got to make sure she good because she didn't ask to be here. It's my job, it's my responsibility to take care of her. And that's what I'm going to do. But I'm off my soapbox. Anyway, that's my biggest problem with us coming back from vacation and seeing motherfuckers like literally, literally working for free while other people aren't working and getting paid. That should bother my soul. So this will be the first time traveling since the government shut down. And I'll take my black ass right back and at the end of January on Spirit Airlines. Shout out Spirit. Y'all say what y'all want to. Spirit Airline did me perfect. 215, big seat. I'm going there and back, round trip. We good. You know what I'm saying? Get my bourbon and coffee first thing in the morning. Let's get active. We going to it. I love it. So shout out to Spirit Airline for getting me there. Carnival Conquest. Yeah, I will see you soon. I will see you soon. But that's kind of been my thought process, how things been going for the past 5 months. Last time I was on the pod, I kind of started something, and I want to do a deeper dive into it this time around and every time going forward. For the people who don't care, please feel free to fast forward. This is going to be the segment called Fun Fact in Black, where we go over somebody that was a major figure in the black community or the African American community or the Hebrew Israelite community, or however you define the people of a darker hue than the rest of the world that had a contributing factor towards this great nation that some people claim to love more than others, but I digress. All right, so this week, fun fact in black, the man behind the movement, Mr. Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin was a triple threat of brilliance. He was a master in logistics, proficient, and fearless activist. But he was openly a gay black man in the 1940s and 50s, and he was forced to stay in the shadows of the movement that he helped build. Now, if you thought being gay or trans or bi or whatever is something in 2025, as a white person, I can't even imagine what it would have been like for a black man to be already being hated for the color of your skin, but also your preference and who you choose to engage with sexually. Wild times. He taught MLK, who, if those who don't know, because certain groups are real dead set on changing history. MLK is short for Martin Luther King. When Dr. King first began the Montgomery boycott for the bus, he actually armed the guards protecting his house. Rustin was one of the people who went to the Montgomery and convinced King that for the movement to succeed, it had to be 100% nonviolent. He introduced King into the teachings of Gandhi, which became the foundation of the entire civil rights movement. He built the March on Washington in 8 weeks. Like, think about that for real. No internet, no cell phones, no social media. And Rustin was the man behind the logics for 250,000 people to cover on DC. Crazy. Coordinated the buses, the sound system, so everyone can hear either I Have a Dream speech and even the 80,000 box lunches to feed the people. He was so efficient, he was nicknamed Mr. March on Washington, literally the ghost of the movement. Despite his genius, other civil rights leaders tried to push him out because they feared his sexuality would be used by the FBI to discredit the movement. Rustin stayed in the background anyway, prioritizing the mission over his own fame. Mr. Bayard Rustin. Come on, man. Give a round of applause for the brother. Thank you, sir, for what you did. And I hope to bring some light to some people who did not know your existence, did not know your contributions to what you did, and to molding and building the freedoms and the capabilities of how people of color, especially black folk, can move in this country. It's kind of heavy, so I'm gonna deal with the dad joke of the week. Every day I do a dad joke, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday. This one just happened to got the most views. So for the people who know, try to keep it to yourself. If you listen to this with somebody who doesn't know the joke, then here you go. All right. So how does the marching band brush their teeth? Huh? They use a tube of toothpaste. Nothing. Nobody. Go fuck yourselves. Tuba toothpaste, tube of toothpaste, tuba. You know what? I'm not going to explain it. It just takes away from it. But before I close out, a lot of people might look at the name of this podcast and figure, why is it called My Father's Words? While I was gone, my father, Troy McClain Sr., passed away on October 22nd. And it's different losing a parent. My mother lost a husband. My 6 siblings lost a father. My aunts and uncles lost a brother. My grandfather lost a son. My grandfather and grandmother lost a son. And it's different. Trying to process a world where a person that had such a monumental imprint on your life is no longer there. It almost forces for me. It almost forces for me to feel like I can't be as juvenile as I want to be. I gotta kind of grow up now because he's not here. It made me think about how his last years of how our relationship was. My father started getting real deep into the basis of the Bible. And for those who know me, I am nowhere close to religious anymore. I grew up in that world, and just certain things didn't sit right with me. And so because of how he believed and because of the way I believe, foundationally, we were different in that aspect of how he believed the end is, and what he thinks his children should believe in, and I know that he ultimately want what's best for his kids. And I know that for sure. I know for sure that he ultimately always wanted what's best for his children. And for whatever reason, I held on, and I hate it for myself because I tell people all the time, you don't have the time you think you do to be mad about whatever you're mad about. And that simply states that if you're mad at somebody and you think you have time to be mad at them, you have no idea when your last time seeing them will be. My last time seeing my father was on his birthday on July 4th. We all went to breakfast to celebrate him. He turned 63. And all of us, I think, with the exception of my younger sister, I think she was in New York. So 6 out of 7 of us were there. And it was a good time. It always is when my family gets together. He was, just laughing, was talking. And you never think that, 63-year-old man, he's decent health, There shouldn't be a reason why I should rush to see him. There shouldn't be a reason why I should call him all the time. Like, I don't want to hear, well, son, you gotta get in that word, and you gotta do what you gotta do. And because my father, when he was adamant about making a point, he would always stutter a little bit. You gotta get in that word, boy. And for whatever reason, I thought I had more time to talk. So again, we got off the cruise October 6th. I flew back, home. And my brother sent me a message. He says, hey, Dad says, you don't really hear from you like that. So, it'd be nice to reach out and talk to him. You can. I was like, oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you. And a couple weeks later, I had my 20-year high school reunion. Shout out to West Ashley Wildcats. Had my reunion. And I called my father a couple days before because my brother's words kind of resonated. I was like, yeah, I can give him a call. He didn't answer. I was like, I'll be down there. I'll see him. And I got down to Charleston, got to my hotel, talked to my brothers about some ideas I was having for the next year cruise. And he said, hey, you gonna swing by and see Pops while you down here? I said, I'll see what I can do. And in doing that, I reached out to my mom. And I talked to her. And she asked the same question. Hey, you gonna swing by and see your dad? So, we'll see if there's time. If there's time. It's a crazy concept to think about. My hotel was in North Charleston. My father was in West Ashley. And literally, it took no time for me to be en route to go where I was going. I could have got off the exit on Savannah Highway. I could have been to where he was in a matter of minutes. But I was so quick to get to this high school reunion. I just gotta get there. I haven't seen these people in 20 years. I ain't seen them, and I need them to see me because I still look good. I still got it. And so I didn't go. I didn't go see my father. I passed by. I said, I'll just catch him on Thanksgiving. I'll see him then. And that was on, I believe, October 18th. So I got back from the reunion, got my car, I left, went back to North Carolina, not thinking nothing of it. And while I was in a training, my mom called. No, my brother called. And, it's so weird when your brother calls you in the middle of the day because when you have siblings like mine, we know each other's call patterns. They don't generally call me at work. My mom doesn't call me before 11 with good news, ever. So I'm always leery. So my twin brother calls, and he's apparently called me a lot of times, but I had my phone on Do Not Disturb, didn't want to disturb the class. So I leave out the room, and I saw my mom call me. It's like, oh, this can't be good. This can't be good. It's got to be my grandfather. He's almost 90 years old. He was getting up there. Maybe it's grandma. She's getting up there in age. And my mom called, and she was like, hey, Heavy. I said, what's wrong? She said, well, I'm calling you. It's not good news. I said, who died? Who died? Was it Rev? That's why I called my grandfather. Was it Rev? And she was like, no. Grandma? I said, no, your father's gone. Excuse me? She said, yeah, we found him sleeping. Sleeping? Yeah. Where? Oh, remember that place you drove by, couldn't stop and see? Yeah, it was just, he went out for a drive that morning, stopped by, talked to some friends, and my father used to love to watch movies and TV shows and YouTube on his phone. When you got a house full of people, I didn't understand it until I had a daughter, why people can find comfort in just sitting outside in their cars for hours. So it wasn't uncommon for him to be outside just, chilling in his car. And they say, yeah, they found him unresponsive. He passed away in his sleep. I'm at work thinking, my father's dead? That's crazy. That's wild. I can't imagine that. Until this day, it still doesn't feel real. Till this day, it still doesn't feel like it doesn't. It feels like I can just call him if I felt like it, and he would answer, "Hello, hey boy, what's going on?" And that's kind of where it's at. Had his funeral a week later, and I don't like going to funerals. Don't like it. It's not my ideal thing. Largely in part, here's what I don't like funerals, because I don't like how people encapsulate the body. Because for what I believe, whoever is in the coffin or the casket isn't the person that you remember. You don't remember them motionless and lifeless. You remember them. You remember the lessons that they taught you. You remember how they made you feel, what they made you think, how they made you process information, thoughts, emotions. That's the part that people miss, in my opinion, with funerals. They're staring at this body like that's the person, and that's the shell. That's not the origins of who they are. And it didn't make it hurt any less to see him there. It didn't make it hurt any less to watch them lower him in the ground and put dirt on top of him. It didn't sink in. And I don't think it has. So on top of the people that was adamantly pushing me to come back to podcasting, adamantly pushing me to come back to creating and to doing things, I titled this episode My Father's Words, because he would always tell me, boy, I heard your podcast, boy, you're talking that true talk, talking that real talk now. Now, if you just put a little spin on it like this, but hey, stay in your lane. Do what you do, but stay in your lane. My father was one of my quietest, biggest supporters. When I loaded up my TikTok from having it shut off for all of those months, his profile pops up, and his message to me that he sent, hey son, I love you, boy. And then I click on his page, and he just has a picture of us, probably taken about 15 years ago, give or take 10, 15 years ago, of just us, all of his kids, his wife sitting at his parents' house, and music playing in the background. We are family. And I just sit and stare at it, and I'll write him, knowing that he can't write back. But yeah, this episode, this new beginning, is in dedication to my father, Troy McLean Sr. I love you to life and in death and anything and everything in between, always and always. Rest easy. We got your wife. We got baby girls. We're going to look out for them. And I will continue to grow into the man that would have made you proud. And for everybody else, to the 3, 4, 5 supporters I got, thank y'all for keeping your foot on my neck, telling me I need to be back doing this, because you don't understand how therapeutic this is for me. And I promise to be true to what I say and how I move, and I promise to be consistent. Because not only do I owe you, but I owe him. I used to always tell my father, I'm gonna be this big, voice in the world. And he said, well, son, when? You can't do it. Sitting on the sidelines, you can't get the first base. You can't get the second base with your foot on first. You gotta move. So, Pops, this is me moving. I love you to life. I love all you guys that support me, for real, from the heart of me and the best parts of me. Thank you for joining me in my official long-term, no more breaks, we good, Heavy Thoughts podcast episode entitled My Father's Words. I love y'all. Remember, be safe, be loved, and be easy. Until next time. Peace.